Another big story, the long wait to go through security at Bush Airport. Good afternoon. I'm Mario Diaz. Andy Sirota is on assignment. We're following breaking news out of Washington, where President Donald Trump has signed a promised executive action that will pay Transportation Security Administration employees after a deal that sought to do the same stalled in Congress. In a statement, Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen said TSA workers should begin seeing paychecks as early as Monday. This as we enter day 42 of the shutdown. And once again, close to home, we are seeing long lines and very little patience at Bush Intercontinental Airport, where currently, as you can see there on the screen, you have a wait time on the security checkpoints of about 150 minutes for Terminal A South, as well as 140 for Terminal E. KPRC-2's Gage Goulding is walking with some of those passengers, hearing frustration and their calls for action.
It's another afternoon here at Bush Airport. The look on faces as long as the lines themselves.
Lovely. Just hungry, but it's fine.
They all woke up Friday to news that relief was on the way. The Senate passing a funding bill. These TSA workers could finally get paid, but the Speaker of the House turning it down.
Say that they need to take the pay cut too. If they're not paying the people that work for them, they shouldn't get paid either.
Some have done that, but unlike the TSA agents and many folks here, those lawmakers are starting their 2-week Easter vacation today, while people like this guy are trying to get to
Florida.
Home or just for vacation?
Home. Yeah. If I could drive, I would. But
it's that bad?
Yeah, it's bad.
It's just too far for him to drive. But take a look around. There's people everywhere you look. The line actually starts down here somewhere. Now, you might be able to look and see it's actually not as busy right now. The morning and evening rushes are really the worst, but it's still hot, stuffy, uncomfortable, and it's restless for those kiddos.
Is it tough being in line with the kids?
It's okay.
That's the best answer a mom can give. We all know it's a handful. Standing, walking a few steps, standing some more, doing it for hours on end, thinking, when will all of this end? The clock, it's ticking until those lawmakers on Capitol Hill pass the funding bill.
All right, we know that is still going to be a requirement here back live out at Bush Airport. Passengers having a roller coaster of a day, just trying to get on their ways either to home or vacation, as you heard there. So what just happened? We know that President Donald Trump has signed an executive memorandum that he titled Paying Our Great Transportation Security Administration Officers and Employees. This happened just within the last hour or so here. The TSA posting on X, formerly Twitter, that TSA officers have been losing their homes and cars, struggling to put food on the table. And today, at the direction of President Trump, Secretary Mullins has immediately began the process of reinstating paychecks to TSA employees. So the big question now, Mario, is exactly when will they start seeing that money? We're told that that should start showing up on Monday. So a quick turnaround after the weekend, but what a roller coaster of a day.
Yeah, and you mentioned that right there, Gage. It was a roller coaster of a day. You've been seeing this all week long in your coverage out there. Great job with that. But let me ask you specifically this. Today was different. There was hope. Then it stalled. And now we've got this. That roller coaster emotions. What are the passengers really saying about today being different, because there was a sense this deal was going to happen?
You know, there was that sense of, okay, the Senate passed this bill, the House needs to pick up the ball and get it across the goal line, right? And then that fell flat. And I don't want to say, you know, people were upset or, you know, frustrated, or you could feel the energy sucked out of the room, because, I mean, you look at this room, there's a lot of people that are just simply frustrated to be standing in line, Mario. But the reality is that they didn't know what was happening. And, you know, some people that weren't necessarily in tune with what was going on was hearing that the Senate passed this bill, and then, you know, they were hearing that as or House Republicans, excuse me, were already rejecting the bill. So there's just been a lot of confusion. Here's the simple thing that people want, and I think you and I probably want the same thing. We just want to know what's happening and when it's going to happen. And it looks like if the president's memorandum is legal, which there has been, you know, a question of that, then that could be an answer while, you know, Republicans on Capitol Hill at least are able to figure out the details.
Gage, we love seeing you on television, but do me a favor, step out of the shot, have the photographer pan out, give us a big idea here of what this line looks like. And because of this agreement now, they're not going to get paid until possibly Monday. But what does this mean for the traveler today going through Sunday? What can they expect out there? What are you hearing?
Well, you know, it's still a very long line. You know, what we're seeing right now is the mid-afternoon slate. As the hours go on, we're going to see more and more and more people start showing up for those evening flights, which, again, is going to clog things up, just like we saw in the morning. Talk about this weekend. Remember, you have March Madness, you have the Houston Open, a lot of sporting events here in town. There's a lot of people still trying to get in and out of town. Expect to still deal with that chaos. Expect to still deal with hours-long waits. Now, airports in different parts of the country have said that, yeah, that's contributing to the long wait times. You know, everybody's showing up early in the morning, even though their flight doesn't take off till 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. It's hard to tell people don't show up whenever they show up and they can wait in 4, 5, 6 hour lines at times. There's another point, too. We've lost over 500 TSA workers who have resigned from this position. I spoke with a former TSA administrator yesterday. He said the question is how many of those are going to be willing to come back to an agency that, remember, this is the 3rd time in the last year that they have gone unpaid. So how many of those folks are going to give the TSA and give the federal government another chance? I think all of those are going to be things to be determined, to be seen. I also would reckon and say a lot of TSA agents didn't show up to work today, even though there was that bill going through. What I'm trying to get to here is there may not be a lot of faith until someone opens up their app on their phone and they see that money hit in there. Then they might finally return to work. So this weekend, if you have flights even going into the first part of next week, honestly, again, I would still, it's going to be business as usual in terms of showing up 4, 5, 6 hours ahead of time for a flight.
And as you look over that right shoulder of yours, Gage, and you look back towards TSA and the checkpoint there at Bush, that line, it's a trickle. It's not moving fast.
No, not at all. And what you can't see is what's below us right now. The line starts a whole concourse level below where we are. Right now, they're not going outside, but there's still this plus maybe times 2 or 3 below us. This is a very, very long line, Mario.
All right, patience, 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 and a resolution appears to be possibly on the horizon. Gage Goulding, live this afternoon at Bush Airport. Thanks so much, Gage. Now, we're working to learn more about